Hello, I am Professor Adrian Ryans of IMD, the leading international business school based in Lausanne, Switzerland. Thank you very much for downloading this videocast, which is based on my book, Beating Low-Cost Competition. This videocast deals with two themes. First, assessing the opportunity for low-cost competitors in my market or industry, and second, deciding how to react to those low-cost competitors if you should decide to do so. This videocast is one of a series of 6 videocasts that provide advice on how to react to low-cost competition. For further information on the series, please go to this URL. Dealing with the low-cost threat exposes a company's managers to a series of strategic choices that are best illustrated with a flowchart. Let us go over these decision points one by one.
The first decision point covers the overall low-cost threat. Is my company in a sector that is exposed to low-cost competition? Some industries are less at threat from low-cost competitors. Just consider elevator repairs or 3-star restaurants. Other protective factors for companies include strong intellectual property barriers, for example in the pharmaceutical or biotech industries until patents expire, industries where strong distribution networks are needed, think Caterpillar or John Deere, industries at the early stage of their development, where rapid technological change may keep low-cost competitors at bay, at least for a time.
If you can't count these blessings as part of your competitive environment, then you should be asking yourself the question, is there room in my market for a low-cost or price-value competitor?
This is the second point in the flowchart. In order to answer this question, you'll need to assess the market size of the segment. One method to think this through might be to reflect on price elasticity in your company's business. At different price points, which customers could you capture? How many new customers would lower prices attract? How many existing customers would shift to lower cost alternatives, if good enough ones were available?
The next decision point in the flowchart addresses the question, should my company enter the low-cost segment? If you decide to compete in the good enough segment of the market, there are several options. I would distinguish between 3 principal entry methods.
The first strategic option is to use the existing company infrastructure and create an internal division focused on the low-cost or good enough opportunity. In many cases, this option might be more complicated to manage, but it makes it much easier to share resources such as procurement, R&D, IT infrastructure, etc. In some cases, it might allow a company to test the waters before making the leap to a fully independent business unit. The danger with the internal division approach is that the inherent conflict between the two businesses strangles the low-cost business. The second strategic option is to create a standalone company. Many companies choose this option. Why? Experience shows that low-cost operations need a different mentality to be successful. Also, it may make sense to establish the low-cost business in areas with lower costs, such as China, India, or Central Europe. An external structure also prevents internal turf wars within the premium business. The third option is to acquire an existing low-cost player and develop your low-cost business from this base. This option has the advantage that it gives you a running start, and it may give you a cost structure that would be difficult to achieve in a business built internally. Let us look at 3 companies that each chose a different strategic option.
Let us start with Nokia. Nokia was already losing market share in China to Chinese manufacturers producing good enough mobile phones.
Nokia did not need much analysis to figure out that there was a substantial market size to be captured at the lower end of the spectrum. It decided to create a unit focusing on entry-level phones, but based much of its activities in China and other developing countries. Nokia chose this option for a number of reasons: to leverage its economies of scale in R&D and manufacturing, to use the Nokia brand in both the low-cost and premium segments, to gain quick acceptance in the low-cost segment, and to encourage entry-level customers to later upgrade to premium Nokia phones.
ING, on the other hand, set up a separate business unit, ING Direct, to enter the good enough segment of the retail banking market.
The pilot market was Canada, where ING had no retail banking presence. This allowed the CEO, Arkady Kuhlmann, and his team to design the business from the ground up and to really incorporate some out-of-the-box thinking in many areas of its strategy. ING Direct used some hard-hitting ads comparing its much better interest rates to those of Canadian competitors. Kuhlmann was also willing to fire unprofitable customers. ING Direct was an almost instant success and rapidly rolled out the concept to the US, Australia, and a number of European countries.
Lastly, let us look at Danfoss Motion Controls, a leading Danish company producing frequency converters that are used to control the speed of production equipment.
Danfoss acquired Hollip, a low-cost operator in China, in 2005. About 100 low-cost Chinese players had already captured about 20% of the market, and an acquisition seemed to be the fastest route to recapturing some lost ground. One big challenge was to keep Hollip cost-competitive. The temptation that Hollip resisted was to upgrade employee working conditions to Danish standards, introduce the latest technology, link it up with the Danfoss infrastructure, etc.
As the Hollip story suggests, one of the biggest challenges to developing a successful low-cost business is building or maintaining the very different business culture that a low-cost operation requires. Of course, not all companies decide to go along this branch. Perhaps they feel the low-cost opportunity is not attractive enough, or they just don't see how they could develop a winning strategy in that segment of the market. So, in another videocast, we'll talk about what you do if you decide not to enter the low-cost segment, but rather to focus on your premium segments. Then the big question is, how do you bulletproof your business against aggressive low-cost competitors?
We hope that you have found this videocast useful. Should you have any questions or comments, please contact us at this email. Additionally, thank you for spreading the word about this series to your friends and colleagues.
Thank you once again, and good luck with your low-cost ventures.